Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 74 and today it is Sunday afternoon. At least it is Sunday afternoon for you guys watching this video. It is currently Friday afternoon for me, and Sunday afternoon means that, unfortunately for a lot of you, tomorrow is going to be your first day back at school. So I wish you all the best of luck. Obviously going back to school is always a bit of a tricky thing. For those of you starting a new school today, once again, wish you a massive quantity of luck because that is obviously extremely nerve-wracking. I know that a few of you are starting later on in the week. Some of the schools in England are actually going back on the 7th, which is like a Wednesday. Seems a little bit strange to me, but I just wanted to get that out of the way at the start of today's episode because I know quite a few of my subscribers are relatively young. Some of you guys are still in school, some of you obviously aren't, but it's always scary. I always used to be really scared going back to school because you're like, well, what if everything's changed? What if I forget things on the first day and make a really bad impression? What if I don't make any friends? These are all genuine concerns, and I can promise you that by the end of the first day, everything will be fine, you'll be back in the rhythm, and I'm sure you'll have plenty of people to talk to already. So, crack on with that. But anyway, now that my little motivational speech is out the way, I've just stepped in my translocation elevator and it doesn't seem to be working, but we're going to be doing a new project in the industrial district, which is something that I'm rather excited about. It's been a while since we've built a new farm on the Hermitcraft server, and today we're going to be doing just that. We're going to be building ourselves a new, rather large farm. Okay, this is going to be a cactus farm. Know what you're thinking. Mumbo, why do you need large quantities of cactus? I don't. I genuinely don't need large quantities of cactus, but I think it'll be a fun thing to work on, and I've come up with a really cool design for a cactus farm that I think a lot of you are going to quite like. So I'm thinking I'm going to build it in this area right here. It seems big enough, you know. Once again, this is a cactus farm. We don't need loads of cactus, okay? We don't need like a massive, gigantic area for this cactus farm. This is definitely going to do it. It's going to go right the way down, going to a really quite deep farm, and it should produce tons upon tons of the green stuff, which is cool. Let's pop into the redstone testing world, and I'll show you it. So as you can see right now, this thing is so very efficient. I mean, look how fast the cactus is growing. This sort of formation right here actually causes the cactus to grow considerably quicker, and it basically makes it a ridiculously efficient farm. And of course, I am totally lying. I've turned up the game tick speed so that you can see what's going on. But this is the farm itself. This is the actual design. What you've got is sand, cactus, and then some string, and then sand, cactus, string, and so on and so forth. And then we have another one that is staggered up next to it, going up like this. And that means that when this cactus grows, it actually grows next to this block, and then pops off and falls down onto the floor. And we will be building another one next to it like this, so we'll stagger them a bit like that. And it's ridiculously easy to build. I mean, look at this. It's just simple, isn't it? So we can just build them like this and sort of create like a checkboard pattern of various different cactus farms. It's going to work wonderfully. So I guess the first project of today's episode is to take out this big area right here. Now we're going to be mining out this space, and we're going to be going right the way down, because obviously this is a vertical based farm, which means that the taller it is, the more cactus we're going to have coming down through into the system. So I don't know how far down I want to go, but I want to be a little bit silly with this. I know it's just a cactus farm, but I just really like the thought of having a ridiculous number of cactus. So let's get down to business and see how big we can dig this hole. Right, I personally would say that this is a pretty good zone for our new gigantic cactus farm. I mean, it's pretty deep. I don't know how many blocks I mined out. I wasn't really taking notice. I just stopped when I felt like it was necessary to stop. And I would say that we have got a pretty good zone for this. So obviously our cactus farm is going to go up like this. And then down at the bottom here, we're going to have water streams, which are going to push all of the cactus that are falling from the farm itself, and they're going to be put into the hoppers. And then of course, just like all of the other farms in this area, they're then going to be taken up into our item storage system, and they'll be running straight into the sorter and stuff. So that is basically the plan for today's episode. I have no idea how much we've got to get done, but I guess the first thing we've got to do is we've got to gather up a ton of sand, and also a bunch of string, and probably a bunch of cactus as well, because to be honest, I don't know if I've got any cactus. I mean, I definitely don't have enough to fill up this farm, so we might have to do this bit by bit. Two things. Number one, we have got some rather nice additions to our sorting system. By the look of things, these guys have been picking up the items And now they've got pumpkins on their heads and sugarcane in their hands. But the second thing is, maybe, just maybe, we should work out a better solution for this. I should probably chuck some lava down at some point because there are a lot of items there. I mean, we're looking at, what, 170? That's ridiculous. While I was on my way over to the deserts, I noticed a few little boards around saying that you needed to get your shop licenses by September the 1st. It's now September the 2nd, which means that I don't have any shop licenses, which means that my very unprofitable shops could be about to get shut down, which I suppose is, you know, that's absolutely fine. It's not like I'm losing out on too much, but still, I don't know what to do there. I think we're gonna have to send a message to Wells saying, hey, late payment please, can I get my license? Now obviously, because this is a pretty simple project, there's not too many resources to gather. So we've got all of the sand, I've got a bunch of cactus from Wells Knight's cactus farm, which is absolutely excellent. And now we're going to grab some string. Now I don't know if that's quite going to be enough string right there. That was, what, 4 stacks? I think we're probably going to need a tiny bit more than that, just to be safe. Okay, you might as well bring that along with you. And we have another set of the stuff on the other side of our storage system. So fingers crossed we get a little bit luckier here. Yes, that is considerably better. Right, let's chuck all of that into the inventory. We'll pop down to the bottom and we'll actually start placing in a few blocks. So, all of the cactus pillars are now fully planned out. We've got all of the slabs placed in. And one thing that I have just thought is that I have no idea how I'm actually going to build this. Because of course, if you place the sand, then we place our cactus, then we place a block next to the cactus is going to break. Which means that we can't really pillar up and do these pillars. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I could do it layer by layer. So I sort of place in all of the sand, and then I place in all of the cactus, and then all of the string next to the cactus, and then the sand on top? Maybe? I just don't know. I don't know. Genuinely am a little bit confused as to how I'm going to build this, especially in this confined space. It could be just a tiny bit challenging. Well, you know what? I'm going to give it a few tests. Maybe what I could do is I could do it layer by layer, and if that doesn't work, I'll do it like row by row. That could be a good option. Oh, the chances are I'm just going to die plenty of times on all of this cactus and lose all of my items. That's definitely something that I've got to be wary of. Now, I actually built a farm similar to this in Hermitcraft Series 2 that was designed by Sethbling. It was a very similar configuration, but instead of using string, you used vines, and you could use the vines to climb up onto the next layer. That's basically how you built it. And it was really, really smart like that. But I think our method is actually working quite nicely. The only thing I will say is that you just notice I had to take out that row right there. And that's simply because if I didn't do that, then we wouldn't have been able to do it. I think one set of cacti just wouldn't have been broken by the blocks, and that's not particularly good. There's no point in that. So now we have to start work on the next layer, and this is all looking very, very confusing. I'm guessing we now work in this direction, and we do the same thing once again. So I guess it's cactus, string, sand. Cactus, string, sand. You know what? That sounds pretty good to me. It's like a new Disney song or something. Cactus, string, sand. Cactus, string, sand. That's basically going to be my life for probably the next 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Progress update, it is raining, it is dark, it's a thunderstorm, I can hear lots of chickens, which is really driving me around the bend. There's zombies in the walls, which are also extremely annoying. And the cactus farm is coming together really quite nicely. I mean, we're making some really good progress. Now that I've got that little rhyme in my head, the cactus, string, sand, it's working wonderfully. We're placing in all the blocks really quickly. I'd say we're around about, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4-ish layers, 3.5 layers done, and I'd say we've only got another 4 or 5 layers left to go until we reach the top. I mean, this is going really well. We should have made this thing bigger. Guys, I've got some fantastic news. By the look of things, the farm is working. We've actually got one piece of cactus on the floor. It's right there. That is evidence that this design is actually functional. One thing that I will just say is that obviously there are going to be a few items lost. With any cactus farm, that's always going to be the case. Some of the cactus is going to land on the cactus and get destroyed. But for the most part, this thing should be functional. I'm a little bit concerned that there's only one on the floor. I mean, I would have thought it would be more than that. But you know what? It's a good start. That is definitely a good start. I can't see any more. I think that's the same one from earlier. Oh, and there's another one! We've got two! And that one just broke, but I think we lost the item. No, it's there! This thing is super efficient. We've built the best cactus farm ever. Believe it or not, ladies and gents, the entire farm has been completed. We have built everything. This is it. The cactus farm is done. You can see there is some cacti falling on the floor. It is all working perfectly. We have got all of the modules in place. I'm now chucking in some slabs on the top because I think that will look good. And that is everything completed. Now, the reason that I sound so confused and so surprised is because, as I said earlier on, I actually built this thing on a Hermitcraft Series 2. Okay, I built this, but it was an easier to build design. It was actually a simpler design, and it was much easier to build due to the way that you did it. And I remember looking back after recording that episode going, wow, look how much time and effort I've put into that episode. This is one of my best episodes, and at the end of Hermitcraft Series 2, I was like, gosh, that episode was amazing. I don't know what I was doing back then, okay? In Hermitcraft Series 2, okay, I'm not saying I didn't put effort in back in those days. All I'm saying is I clearly put in a lot more effort now than I did back then, because we're only like a third of the way into the episode. We have still got so much more stuff to do. We're going to hook this up into the storage system. We're going to do all the sorters and do all of the item collection. We're going to chuck in the glass on the top and do all of the decoration. Basically complete this entire thing in one episode. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So as I mentioned earlier on, the next step of the process is to do all of the decorating, doing all of the sandstone walls and also all of the glass on the top. And because I'm a little bit lazy and I don't want to go out mining for sandstone, especially because my pickaxe is running low, I'm actually just going to grab some of the sand that we got earlier and craft it up into sandstone. I know it's quite a big waste, okay, we are wasting quite a lot of sand right here, but I don't have a use for it, so this seems like a good idea. Whoa! This thing is actually really efficient. I mean, look, we've got a bunch of cactus down at the bottom here. There's loads of it. Oh my word, this is going to be a fast farm. This is going to be a really, really fast farm. I reckon we're going to fill up all 36 double chests quite quickly here. I mean, there was at least maybe 20 on the floor there. 20 every 5 minutes. That puts us at... Ollie can't do mental maths. I was going to try and work out the hourly rate, but I'm just a bit too stupid. Well, that's a bit of a pain in the backside. I've just come back from the end at repairing my pickaxe, and it turns out my bed is gone. But this does give me an excellent excuse to show off the Iron Titan. Or is it the Iron Trench? Or is it the Iron Foundry? I think it's the Iron Titan. Yeah, this is the Iron Titan, and it looks absolutely glorious. And if you're wondering how Tango Tech and Impulse could build that gigantic iron block face on my drone, this is the reason for it. I mean, they've got quite a lot of iron stockpiled. This thing is completely ridiculous, and you can see that we've got plenty more iron flowing in as well. My plan of crafting up all of the sandstone didn't really work too well. I mean, it barely covered one side of the build, so here I am again, back in the deserts, just clearing out large quantities of space and making a giant mess. Now that all of our walls are done, it is time to start work on the floor, and for our floor we're going to be using compressed ice, and that's going to transport our items really nice and quickly. But while I was building all of the walls, did a little bit of maths to try and work out how fast this farm was, because obviously I was looking around and I was like, there is cactus everywhere, this thing is working like a charm. Turns out it's not that ridiculous, to be quite frankly honest with you. We get 37 or around about 37 cactus every 5 minutes, okay? And the way that I know that is because obviously after 5 minutes the cactus despawns. So we have like a 5-minute window. This is 5 minutes worth of cactus, which looks like a lot, but when you work it out, it's only 444 cactus an hour. Now, that sounds like a lot once again. I mean, that's almost 7 stacks of cactus, but 7 stacks of cactus an hour, that means that after a 10-hour AFK session, we'll get maybe, if we're really, really lucky, like if we're really pushing the boat out, 1.5 double chests. Now we've got 36 double chests in our storage system dedicated for this thing. Yeah, just dedicated to this. That means that we have got to do around about 30 overnight AFK sessions to fill up all of those chests, which is definitely doable. I've been doing a ton of them recently. But all I'm saying is this is not the ridiculous farm. This is not the most insane farm I have built in the industrial district. I thought this thing was going to be really, really fast. Turns out it's just brisk. I'm going to describe it as a brisk cactus farm. It's not like Lightning McQueen, but it's pretty speedy. So I hope you still love it. Next up on the to-do list is to hook our cactus farm up into our hopper system. And I have located the hopper system for our egg farm, which is decently nearby. I mean, you can see this is where the water streams end for the cactus farm, and there's a bunch of cacti at the end here. and then the egg farm is just over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all of these blocks here, and we're going to run all of the hoppers going across like that, and they are all going to make their way into the item elevator, which is then going to send the items up into the hoppers, and then they're going to snake around the entire industrial district before ending up in the sorting system. That seems like the most simple way of doing things. So I've got a little bit of redstone to do and also a tiny bit of clearing to do, but hopefully it should all go smoothly. I've placed in a lot of the redstone, and now we need to give it a bit of a test. So I just chucked some items into it to test out the starting mechanism, and that seems to be working okay. But let's see what happens if we throw in a bunch of items. I want to make sure that they make their way right the way up to the top. So let's see where they get up to. Okay, so we've got one item there. Other than that, it seems pretty good. It looks like all of the items are going right the way through to the top. They're flowing through the hoppers. Now they're making their way up to the sorting system. This thing actually works. You know what? Today's episode has been far too smooth. I am waiting for something catastrophically awful to happen, because right now this is just bizarre. Something has gone catastrophically wrong and I can't work it out. All of the items just seem to be getting stuck halfway up through the item dropper. I have tried a slightly different design. That doesn't appear to be working. And I think the only possible reason for it is that our item elevator is in a different chunk to the redstone. That could be it. That could be the cause. It's sort of messing with redstone timings a little bit, which basically means it doesn't work. But yeah, it doesn't happen. Look, all of the items get stuck here now because I've tried some new designs, but it just doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is destroy all of this and place it over by one block, so it's all in one chunk. Seems a bit silly, but hopefully it works. I've tried two things. Number one is everything is now in one chunk. You can see that's a chunk right there, and this is the other chunk. And the other thing that I've done is I have placed in solid blocks next to all of our droppers with redstone on top. So I really do hope that this actually works. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect up the hopper stream, and we're just going to run items from our cactus farm straight into it. So here goes. That's looking better. I'm not seeing any items staying inside. This is good. This is good. And let's just check all of the droppers. No items, no items, no items. Fantastic. Okay, this thing is working perfectly. I have no idea if it was the chunk issue or the block issue, but we have now solved it. So now we can move on to putting the glass roof on this thing. Oh, good heavens. Oh, I was too busy concentrating on the madness that is that to notice there was a zombie on the way, but that is ridiculous. How many are there? Too many. There's like 200 and something. And I'm only getting 62 frames a second, which for my Hadron Collider of a PC, that's pretty low. Wow. Well, I must admit, that looks fantastic. I mean, this looks so cool, and I'm so happy to see the industrial district is actually really coming together. In fact, we've got like a solid line. I need to see this from above. Check it out, guys. The industrial district is really starting to come together now. It has taken a lot of episodes. Okay, I can't even remember when we started work on the industrial district, but it's looking awesome. We've got a ton of farms. We've got tons of items flowing into the central part of the system. I mean, what farms do we actually have? We've got carrot, potato, we've got wheat, we've got melon and pumpkin, we've got cactus, chicken, egg, we've got a smelter, we've got a villager trading, we've got more pumpkin and melon, we've got the sugarcane, and then we've got the villager breeder over there. That's pretty good going. And we've got a bone farm underneath this hill, and the community building project, and the bat cave down there, and the drone. Hermitcraft is awesome. Hermitcraft's going really well. I've got to continue work on this. We now have to hook up the cactus farm into the sorting system. I decided I wouldn't record too much of me hooking this thing up to the item sorter simply because you've seen that quite a few times before. I mean, this is like the 9th thing that I've chucked into the item sorter. But there we go. We've got our cactus. We've got our random items to stop this thing from overflowing. And if we take a look down at the bottom, we should have 1 or 2 cactus. I mean, you can see it's going into the system. When this hits 41, that means it's going to stop filling up the hopper and it's going to start filling up the chests down at the bottom, which have all been connected using these hoppers going right the way down to the bottom there. And also we've got our junk item dropper over there, which is just chucking items onto the floor, which is perfect. And this thing is now good to go. We have finished the entire project in 1 episode. I can't remember the last time I did that. I think the mixture of villager noises and ticking noises from all of my droppers and things is pretty much the theme tune for my base. But anyway, we're going to pop down to the bottom of the sorting system, and we're going to take a look if the cactus is actually going into the chest. So this one here is the eggs, that one there is roast chicken, this one is the wheat, and here goes. That looks good. Okay, we have got a bunch of stuff. These are all the items that dropped out from the dropper that fell into the hoppers. We don't need to worry about those. But this seems to be functional. Now let's just look at it for a little while and see if we get any cactus dropping into the system, because I just want to make sure that it is actually going in there. Those aren't just items that have fallen in. Any second now. I mean, I have mentioned before, this isn't the fastest farm in the world. Clearly it is taking its time just a little bit. Yep. Yeah, this is lengthy. Well, that's a little bit embarrassing. I was sat there for ages just waiting for items to come in. Turns out it's a trap chest. It locked the chest. There are items flowing into this fine. It's just this trap chest there was locking that hopper, which meant they were all going up into that chest instead. Tiny bit embarrassing. I'm now going to add a number to the spoon counter. But after that, what we're going to be doing is the standard overnight AFK session. I want to see how good this cactus farm actually is, because I have high hopes. Okay, I think I'm going to aim for maybe 1.5 double chests of cactus. That's what I'm going to aim for. 1.5 double chests. I'd say that's entirely doable. I mean, you've seen the size of this farm. I'd say we can do it. So I'm going to go AFK overnight, and we're going to see how many items we can possibly get. Guys, I've just been eating my lunch, and a thing happened that has me very scared. Very scared. There was a zombie in here. And Vintage Beef is on. Hello, Vintage. Hey, I have to say hey to him because he is new Hermits on the Hermitcraft server. But there was a zombie in here. And he could have caused serious damage. Serious damage. I have no idea where he's come from or how he spawned. But he was right there. I just heard myself taking damage while I was eating my nice chicken sandwich. And now I'm so petrified of this area. I think I found it. This is a spawnable block. That has a light level of 7. I'm quickly going to run around this area and just check out if there's any other spaces which have a light level of 7. Because I feel like some of the torches that I originally placed have actually been removed. That could have been the cause of the issue, but I am so glad I was in when that happened, because that could have been messy. That could have been seriously messy. There's another one. There is another one up there. In fact, all of these can actually be taken out because these don't need to be here. But wow, we have got lucky over the past couple weeks to have had nothing spawn in here, because I've been AFK over here for like loads and loads of time. It's amazing that nothing has spawned and actually killed all of our villagers. Oh, we are too lucky. Anyway, now that I think that is sorted, it is back to the AFK session. We've still got a very long way to go, but that has scared the pants off me. Seriously has scared the pants off me. I can't believe that. Can anything spawn down here? No, doesn't look like it. We seem to be getting even luckier with these AFK sessions at the minute, because once again, I have managed to stay AFK entirely overnight, despite that little tiny zombie scare, which was horrifying, to be honest with you. We're good. We're absolutely good. All of my villagers are still here. By the look of things, we haven't had any extra zombies spawning. I did chuck all of the items out of my inventory before I went AFK again, because I didn't fancy losing those. I mean, can you imagine if I wasn't around when that guy came up to me? Oh, it would have been awful. I would have lost all my armor, all my elytra. I would have lost all of these items. I mean, I've got a ton of good stuff here. And most importantly, when I died, the zombie would have turned his attention to the villagers, which would have been very bad indeed. But anyway, we're now going to move on from that and take a look at how many drops we've managed to get. And I'm going to start things off with the cactus. That's good. Oh my word, that's good. We've got 2 double chests. That is a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. 2 double chests is pretty good going. I'm sure there's a bunch in the hoppers as well. Not bad, you know, I can't complain too much. I mean, obviously it is going to take us a very long time indeed to fill in all of these chests right here. But let's check this one. We've got quite a bit of wheat these days. That's going right the way up as well. I would say these things are fairly similarly matched. Like the wheat comes in about as fast as the cactus. I think we got 2 extra double chests there, and we've got 2 double chests there. As far as roast chicken is concerned, not so hot. The eggs obviously are filled to the top. All of these ones are filled to the top. most of our storage system is filled to the top now, apart from all of the new bits that we've recently built. So maybe we need to up the efficiency at some point. Maybe I need to add some more layers to the cactus farm, and maybe I need to throw in a few more villagers into the wheat farm. I believe that will increase the efficiency. But other than that, Industrial District is working like a charm. But unfortunately, ladies and gents, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'll see you later.